So, and you need 3 different directions to start, right? He's facing you, you pull this way. He's beside you, you pull that way. He's in position, you pull backwards, right? So those are the 3 we're going to start with.
No side to side.
Side to side is way more complicated. So when you go side to side, if you start trying to pull side to side, you're going to turn his body. Later on, we do these combinations, side and back pulls, to make the dog slide their body. But just to begin with, go ahead.
Yes.
Right? And it doesn't matter that you're standing like heel or any of that, right? The whole idea is that you could be out in the open if you want.
Yes.
The only reason I do it here is I block options for the dog, right? So if the dog's gonna, some dogs act like a fish on the end of the line. They want to flip around and go nutty and everything like that. But if I give them a little channel here to go through, they don't really have any other place to go but straight that way. So I start to pull and they start flipping around and I just go steady, steady, steady. And finally they shoot through and I go, yay, right? So I basically blocked a lot of their body flipping around options. You don't have to do it here. You can do it out in the open. It just works easier. And then, of course, since we've been along the wall, we go along the wall for our healing, it just sort of transitions into your healing. Now I've been doing all my luring stuff, and I have the leash in my hand now, and I can just control the dog's position really lightly. So he's right there, pass it to your other hand, leash in the other hand, no food in that hand. And from here, just without him, you don't want him to see it, just hold it low and steady forward pressure. Yes, and then immediately go, right? So what you want to do is the less you move your body, again, we've done so much luring with our dogs, that if you do this, or, and he sees your hand, he's just going to follow you, which isn't leash pressure, right? What we want is, I get him set up, and then I kind of just go, and he's looking somewhere else, and then he feels that, and you'll feel him, that almost all the first time do, they push back into it, they're like, and you pull, and they go, ah! And they go, and as soon as you do, you shut that off, and mark it.
So grab it at the further end of the leash so that he doesn't see my hand.
So yeah, there, but if you're like deciding you want to be short, because you want to keep the minimum amount of body. So there you are, yeah, perfect. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect, right? And steady, right? So your onset is slow and steady. Don't go jerk. It's slow, steady, increasing, right? So he feels it start, and that gives you the chance to do it with less and less energy, right? So at first I start really slow, I pull, 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 and as I continue to pull, that thing gets more and more uncomfortable. And he finally goes. And then what will happen is as I start to pull, the first onset, then he'll start to move. And now you know you're having it. So after those 2 where he screeched and I pulled him a little bit, he's really light on the leash right now. Very little movement, and he's going right with it. He's not resisting at all, right? And that's pretty typical. You get a couple of resistance, some discomfort from the dogs, and then they start to go relatively nicely with the leash, right? But just nice and slow and steady. Not you're still kind of going, right? He's there. Now you hold the leash really short. Yeah, so you got to keep moving back to your next one, right? And it's not like formal healing. You don't have to stand like this. You're just moving with the leash, right? Now straight back, slow and steady, right?
Yes.
Right? And you're careful when you're going back because you're going up like this. It's straight. That means you have to bend and go even with his back. If I'm pulling up at an angle, that one is going to make the dog want to sit. Also, he can't turn the pressure off. He starts to back up, and because you're pulling up, it stays on. He goes, ah! And then that's where you get a lot of the flipping around. If I'm pulling up, you get these dogs that will go, buck, flip, flip, flip. They go all crazy on you, right? Yes, perfect. Right? And that's it. A pretty typical thing. A couple of sessions, and he can have 2 fingers on the leash and move that dog around. The dog won't resist him at all, right? And this initial stuff, there's no commands. We're not making it look like healing. We're not telling him to front here. It's nice and calm and cool and collected because we want him to learn about this away from all the obedience exercises. So if I'm giving him commands and then pulling on him, now he starts to not like those commands so much, right? So we want to divorce the whole stressful part of this from all the rest of our obedience, right?
Yes.
Beautiful, right? Good. Perfect.
Hey, Michael?
Yeah.
Is there any reason why you had him do more towards him at first and then?
It's generally easier just to see and control it from there, right?
Okay.
So the other, it couldn't make the difference which direction you showed. So don't jerk. Slow, steady, increasing. Yes. There you go. And see him still resist that way, right? So he was a little bit of balking and then and go, right? So that's why you don't want to jerk him because then it's like throwing him that direction. You want to just start to turn that pressure on, pull, pull, pull. And I want to get that resistance. When I go fast, a lot of times they jump. If I go really slow, they feel it start to go, and their natural opposition reflexes back against it, right? And then I can break, and then you'll feel it break. You just steadily keep pulling, 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 pulling. The dog goes, and you go, that's it. They give you a nice, obvious sign that they.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, he's starting to fight a bit more actually.
Well, that direction, because he was sitting here thinking he was going to go the other direction. So one of the things is they'll start to anticipate. So if I do 5 in a row the same way, I'm just going to go like this, and he's going to move, right? He says, oh, every time you stand next to me, you pull me backwards. So once you get him in a position, I've done a few one way, he thinks he's going that way, so when I pull the other way, he's surprised by that, and you may get the resistance again. But generally speaking, 3-4 sessions like this, and your dog gets it, right? And then we can apply it to anything we want, so that then I can make other directions if I want to, right? After that, I can pull straight down for him to lay down, right? You could have the same thing. You stand next to him, pull the leash, and just pull straight down. Go ahead. Where this is earlier than I would normally, but just so you can see. You pull, pull, pull. And as soon as he drops, turn the pressure off. Hold it. Yes. Yes. Perfect. Right. Same thing again. Just hold it right there steady. And hold it short so you don't pull so hard. Nope, not so.
And he doesn't have to down, you're just looking for him to
Yeah,
drop
just
below the
drop
point
the head,
of pressure.
right?
Oh, okay.
So
when you
it's
do
almost like
this, when you
shaking.
pull down and he bows.
This is too where Michael, I don't know if we've talked about, like when you begin, aversive-based training is just whatever you do is having commitment to it, because
Yep.
wherever the pressure turns
Go
off,
here.
because
Steady.
it's so resistant to
Yes,
extinction,
good,
which is
perfect,
good for
right.
us.
So-
But if you don't do it unless you're like, put in
Yeah, so he started to bow, right?
wait,
So you do the same thing. I kind of go straight here.
So that you're resolved to
Yes.
when they fight to just locking up
Right,
and
so-
say, oh, this is ugly.
No,
All they have to do for is yield. They don't have to down. It's just like shaping, right? You don't expect the dog with a clicker and a treat to down the
Yes.
But it
Good
yields
boy,
to
right?
that.
So you do the same thing, right? So you stand next to him and hold it kind
I
of
mean, 3
short
or 4
like
repeats,
this.
they'll
And then
start
you're just going
downing
to go
on their own.
straight
So like,
down
I
just a
know where
little
this is
bit.
going, and I'm not going to argue.
And
And the more
there,
they
yes.
do, the
Good,
faster
right,
they start
right.
to learn.
You feel that same thing.
The ones
He's
that
going to bow, and then
love
eventually he'll go right
that you're
down.
like, oh,
Just
here
doesn't
a
seem
while.
to give.
Yeah, and when he panics, like that's the spot. This the other thing is, if you have a dog with spunk, this is the first place. Think about spunk. Just kind of. Yes, good, perfect.
Good boy.
Exactly, right? And usually I leave the down until I've done the other directions. The other directions are easier. But I just want you to sort of see what will happen when you do it. Right?
Put his
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. It's one of the things that we're dealing with working dogs. We have serious dogs. And he put his teeth on you at 6.5 months old. Now let's say you have him at 2 years old and you haven't done any of this work and you have to correct him for something. Then he doesn't just put his teeth on you. You have a big fight in your hands.
Yeah.
So that one of the things is the dog learns to handle small amounts of stress, but also I kind of calmly and subtly assert myself over the dog. Like here, I don't have to flip out. He's not going to really attack you. He might bite you, and you'll go knock it off, and you just kind of do your thing and go on, right? And he goes, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad, right? So, and he learns that he doesn't get a big reaction out of you when he does that, right? So one of the things is the natural thing is people are going to tell you, oh, if your dog doesn't bite you, kick his ass, flip him over, let him know that's. No, the best thing you can do at this age is totally act like it didn't even faze you. He bites at you and you go, knock it off, and you just do your thing anyway, and he goes, ooh, well, I guess you're tougher than I am, right? And so what happens is, with any aversives as you go along, and what happened when we started initially doing a lot of reward-based training with dogs is, when you do that, you are really excited about not using force again, right? And you're like, man, this is going to be cool. I don't have to correct my dog, right? Which turns out to be a little bit of a pipe dream. You are going to have to correct your dog, right? And so what happens is, if you're good at reward-based training, you can train around a lot of stuff, but not everything. So if I put this off until much later, I get dogs that either I call it the reared on a commune system. Like, so if you took a kid and grew up on a commune in Oregon and then pulled him out and threw him in public high school, you'd be like, oh my God, what the hell, right? And so you get these dogs that have not had any stress, and so when they stress, they just crumble, like their world collapses around them. The other thing you get is you get dogs that really want to bite you. Like, they feel good with themselves, they've never been made to do anything, and they're like, and they go to really bite you. And if they're 2 years old or 18 months old, it's